What an amazing test match. As fans of cricket, you couldn't have asked for much more. Again, going down to the wire. There's been a lot of chat about 2005 and that super close test there where Australia just fell short. And it looked like there was a good chance of that happening in this one. Probably a lot further short than that two-run loss back then. But yeah, an amazing finish, an amazing close win for the Australians, which doesn't happen too often. You usually see Australians sort of dominate, pretty comfortably, win by 100, win by a couple hundred there. Sometimes not have to bat a second time. So to win in England when your backs are against the wall, especially losing a few of those wickets, a few of the key wickets for the most part, needing 55 runs between Cummins and Lyon, and then if needed, Hazelwood was an incredible finish there. So I need to give our props first to some of the players in this game that were incredible. And we'll start with the Australians. And player of the match there was he with the 141 and the 65. He actually batted on every day of this test match. So that is crazy. I think he faced a combined 510 balls. Yeah, about 510, 515 balls, which was absolutely incredible to pick up his over 200 runs there. So massive, massive work from Uzi with the bat. He did carry the Aussie batsman as well as Pat Cummins. So we obviously have to give him his props. He didn't bowl amazingly in that first innings, batted really well, got a bunch of runs there at 38 and really helped the Australians get to a good total there, get close to the English total, batting with Alex Carey there. And yeah, the 4 wickets in the second innings was immense. He bowled amazing to then come out and hit 44 off 73, batting with both Alex Carey, a little bit with Khawaja there before he got out, and then Lyon as well. He's the third guy on our list, Nathan Lyon. So the experience and there's obviously some age between them. Khawaja, Cummins, Lyon. Cummins and Lyon have played, I think, just 10 years now. They've got together. So to win a match like that with an awesome partnership, you could tell their elation. They absolutely loved it, and how much it meant to all of the Aussies. So Nathan Lyon is the third guy on this list, and they're all pretty equal, I'd say, in terms of their importance. It does tend to go to the batsman, who the man of the match, which you probably would be well aware of. It seems to go that way. If someone gets an 85 or something, they'll get the man of the match before a fourfer in a one day or something like that. So that's where Aussie got it. But I think Nathan Lyon was equally as important as both Pat Cummins and also Khawaja. Got 4 for in both innings on a wicket that was doing a little bit, but it's England. It's not, you're not playing in India or even Australia for the most part. Lyon can usually do a little bit better, but amazing for him. 2 fourfers, and this 16 not out was monumental in getting the win for the Australians. On the English side, I think Stuart Broad stands out for the bowling. You did see Ollie Robertson get a bunch of wickets as well, but I just don't feel like he was as damaging as what Broad was. So hats off to Broad with couldn't do much more. He had 3 for 60 odd off 21 in both of them. I think 63 and 66 were the two run totals, so he was great. And obviously Joe Root with his batting, 118 not out in the first one, 46 and out, and it was a very pivotal moment in that second innings. So let's talk about that now as an overall. The decision to declare on day one did prove pivotal in the end. Look, if England won, you'd be like, okay, it was a great decision and whatever, but they didn't. So there's going to be some scrutiny for it. And when you've got a guy like Joe Root, one of the best batsmen in the world. He was incredible in this test match on 118 and, batting with Ollie Robertson, who was on 17 and definitely looks like from the second innings that he can bat that, on 17 off 31, very much in and ready to, smash the ball around. Even if they did decide to clear after that 6 overs, they could likely have got 30 or 40 in that time, just going nuts. And if they got out, then they got out. Those runs in the first innings obviously proved pivotal there. Their runs in the second innings, as I said yesterday, I feel like they just were probably 40 or 50 short. Ended up that it almost wasn't too short, but it was in the end, obviously, with the 55-run stand. But every chance that the boys could have got out there at the end. But leaving 40 or 50 behind with a few of their really rash shots that I felt in that second innings, I think obviously hurt the English there. And there's a few things that they'll look at. There's Bazball against some slightly lesser quality teams. You'd have to say that Australian, obviously the best team in the world right now. It can work in different ways against different teams, and they'll have to go back and sit down and have a look at their tactics and their plans there. And obviously, for the most part, I think it's a really good strategy to be fairly aggressive. For the most part, they were really aggressive along the ground. They just didn't let opposing teams, being Australia in this case, settle in, bowl their lines and lengths. It actually threw them off for the most part. I feel like, Scotty didn't bowl his best. Hazy was all right in his return, and that could be a mixture of just him not playing in a good while, and also the way that England were playing. Pat, I think, was thrown off a little bit in the first innings. Second innings, he was like, "Nah, I'm the best bowler here. I'm gonna bowl to my plans and do my thing." I think Lyon wasn't faced. I think he bowled very similarly, but I just think some of the decision making needs to improve, because I think you can get away with it against some teams. Maybe the fifth or sixth best nation in the world, but against Australia, it's very much seen that tactically, for the most part in the field and stuff like that, the English did really well. You have to say that, because the Australians there, for the majority of them, apart from like Pat Cummins bowling a couple of good balls from Lyon, for the most part the English were getting themselves out in that second inning. So you can't say tactically it was anything Australia were doing. They were just trying to bowl to their plans and get wickets. It was on the English for making some of those mistakes there. So you'd say a lot of tactically in the field and stuff that the English were pretty good, but Australia's quality across the park was the big winner in this test match, and why they got this win. The multitude of batsmen that they can employ that can come out and do a great job, and obviously their bowling attack is second to none. So the big thing here is that Australia's two best batsmen, the two best batsmen in the world, apart from Khawaja, let's say, and then Travis Head, he's up there as well. But average-wise, the two best batsmen in Marnus and Smith, they picked up 19 runs in the second innings, and they picked up 16 together in the first. So to get the win with your two best batsmen in the world not scoring any runs, basically, is so good to see, and exactly what the Australians would go into the change rooms, go into next test going, well, our two best batsmen didn't even score runs, and we were still able to win in other ways. So the confidence that will be built from that is absolutely incredible. And it sounds like I was just listening to the little post-game interview with Lyon, and then Pat Cummins as well. And Lyon was talking about Pat and how cool, calm, and collected he was out there. He was like, Lyon came out to bat. It seems like he's very much a nervous wreck when he's off watching. He's trying to hide in the corner, trying to sleep, or just trying to get away from the action because he gets sick or whatever happens to him. But he comes out and Pat goes, we've had a 50 partnership before. Let's just go out and do it again. And he said that really helped calm him down a little bit and be like, okay, we're possibly we can do this. And that's exactly what happened. And they really took it to them a little bit before they took the new ball. So that was the other thing that at the time was like, oh, maybe they should be taking the new ball. The new ball was available, and they continued to bowl Joe Root. They had Broad on there for a few overs before taking the new ball, and a few boundaries were there. But I think that was just mainly because Pat was like, well, Joe Root with an older ball, spinning a ball into me is going to be my best chance of scoring some runs. So we get a couple of sixes off him there, a couple of boundaries, and that obviously helped get his innings kick-started there. There was a drop catch from Stokesy there off line, which was a really tough one, but obviously it takes that. You'd likely think that they'd win. I think it was about 30 odd to get when Lyon was dropped at that point, but Lyon batted really, really well. Pat obviously as well. As a lot of just taking singles, rotating the strike, and doing a good job. Let's go back to the start of the day with Uzi. Obviously came into the day on 30 odd and added another 30. So I was hoping that it was Khawaja was going to be the one to come out and just bat the day and get the 100 and win. Turns out it was Cummins that could come out and finish the job, and it was obviously really needed. And I know Uzi would have been pretty upset with obviously getting out there. But 65 for him. He chopped on. So did Cam Green. So Cam had one that kind of swung in a little bit, stayed low, and seemed a little bit back in. And then he chopped on. Again, probably that one lapse of concentration a little bit, I'd say, with Green and also Khawaja. Stokesy bowled a leg cutter to Khawaja that kind of just, died a little bit. It was pretty slow, and he chopped on as well. So a little bit of unluckiness, but a little bit of just lack of concentration for those two boys. I just wanted to point out I was really, really happy with how Cam Green batted. This is something, his batting there in test matches is something that a lot of people are like, oh, he'll get there eventually. His bowling is what we need at the moment. But it turned out it was his batting that we needed more in this test match. He didn't bowl a lot, and that was a lot to do with the conditions. And then having three right-handed quicks already. He's kind of good as that third right-handed quick when Stark's available. And I do think, just on that point of Stark, I think he will play next test match. And just remember, guys, all of these test matches are fairly close together. So a lot of these bowlers, it's good to have that fourth quick that they can rotate. Obviously, tactically, in this case, I think will be the move. But also, a few of these bowlers, like Scott, have just played back-to-back test matches. Hazy's kind of getting back into his work. I think they'll pick Hazy again. I think Boland will switch with Travis Head, but his contribution with the bat as well. Scotty of 20 was very, very helpful just to get things started. He came out on 13 overnight and picked up another 7. So just got things started a little bit before Travis Head had to come in. He got his 16. He looked very aggressive and ended up getting the 16. It was a pretty good ball there. Would hit the top of off for Moeen Ali, getting good spin and bounce, which was strange to see the bounce anyway. But as I was saying with Cam, just played really well down the line. He was very late in his defense, not pushing at the ball at all. So that was a big win, and that's why he was pretty annoyed when he actually did chop on, was that he did kind of play outside his body a little bit, outside his head, and a little bit further in front of his body, I should say, compared to how he'd been playing the majority of balls. He back foot punched really well for a bunch of runs as well. Drove the ball a few times nicely. He was one of the ones. That partnership there between Khawaja and Green was what I was watching before I went to sleep. And when they went off for tea, I was like, all right, I'm gonna get to sleep and watch the rest this morning. But I was very confident. I'd say it was slow going. There was a lot of singles. There's a lot of 1s and 2s and over. Slow going through that point. Khawaja wasn't finding any luck getting any boundaries at all there. But Cam was kind of ticking it over, doing a good job. Got the 28, and obviously another contribution to that 38 that he got in the first innings. Alex Carey came out and got the 20 off 50. He kind of got bogged down a little bit. He was scoring fairly quickly, and then it slowed down. And then he ended up getting caught and bowled by Root. Got dropped a little bit earlier when he was on a few less runs. And actually, Root dropped twice, I believe. He dropped Pat as well, just after the first Alex Carey one. But a terrific caught and bowled eventually. And at that point, you would have thought, with Cummins and Lyon into the crease needing 55, that England were likely to win this test match. And this one will go down in folklore. This one is a massive, massive test. And if you're an Aussie fan, I think you'll see the finish to this. You'll see the scorecard to this a lot for the rest of your lives. It's just such an important one. And Pat said that it was his favourite win of his test career. And, it's just such an important one to win the first Ashes test match. It doesn't come much better than that, other than like clinching. I'd say, if it was 2-2 or 1-1 heading into the 5th test match and winning like that would top it for sure. But it's hard for it to get much better than that. When you bowled super well yourself, got the 4-for in the second innings, and then come out and get 44 when your backs are against the wall, it's exactly what you want. So, really the big thing out of this is that the experience and the age mattered here. So, Pat playing for Test cricket for 10 years, Lyon being there for a long time. Obviously, you had Uzi with the age, but obviously has played a lot of Test cricket. Were able to step up, and some contributions from other players there, and I definitely think a lot of them could play a lot better. Obviously, Marnus and Smithy, Warner was okay. Obviously, the 36 helped in this second innings, but some of the bowlers, Scotty and Hazy, could have been like Scotty wasn't his best at all. Hazy was alright, but coming back from his injury, so there's definitely some room for improvement for a lot of these guys as well. So I think they'll take that, as a positive, and England are going to make their adjustments as well. I think that this innings here, the second one, it just shows that a lot of these guys getting in 340s in that one, that's frustrating. And you have a 19, a 14, a 20, 19, and obviously some contributions by Ollie, Stewart, and Anderson in the back end was very, very helpful. But you're looking at that first innings as well, and they had 3 bigger scores. So 2 50s, or 61, a 78, and a 118. That's more like what they needed in that second innings, whereas the Australians kind of accumulated and got there, but they did have that anchor in Uzi, which the English didn't have in that second innings, which I think would have got them to a slightly higher score around that 320 kind of number there. But that's my review of this first test match, guys. I will be back for the second test. We'll preview that one beforehand, and then we'll go from there, going through our daily reactions. I hope you enjoyed these 5 days. Let me know in the comments if you did enjoy the daily reactions and the analysis, and we'll catch you in the next one.